It's YayKay. So this is going to be the new norm. I hope you like the view. This is my new baby. So I have a new car. It's a used car, but it's new to me. It's got like 18,000 miles on it. I bought a Mazda CX-5. Still learning the name of my car. You know, whatever. But check out this feature. Ooh, I bought myself a moonroof. Ah! Now I can see the birdies. I mean, you know, while you're driving, go look at the birds. Yeah. So FYI, this is going to be the new norm. I had to buy another car because my car got totaled from it being stolen on Super Bowl Sunday. So, me vroom vroom go bye-bye, and I'm very sad. Partly because your car's kind of your baby, you know, because I had it for like 12 years. So, like, it's my baby, and I'm going to miss it very much. I never named it. I never named that one. I don't know why. I just never had a name that sounded good to me. But, so my new car, they were programming, like, the app for me, and they were like, so what do you want to name it? I'm like, Tigress! I don't know why I picked that name, but it was just Tigress! It was so aggressive. But anyway, here's my moonroof, so I'm all excited, because I get to hear, like, I love hearing, like, the highway, like, the buzz of the highway when you drive. Just hearing the wind. I don't know why, I just think it's kind of hot. And, so I figure, well, if I'm getting a new car, I'm going to get something with a bell and whistle, because if I'm getting a new car forcibly, I'm going to get something I like. So I got a Mazda CX-5. So, this is my first Mazda, because I've bought, my last two cars were a Hyundai's, and then I had a Buick before that, and then I had two Grand Marquis when I was in high school. They were hand-me-downs from my grandparents. And those things were tanks, dude. I loved those cars. They had metal bumpers. They didn't have this plastic crap. Oh my god, they were sexy. They were V8s. Like, oh, just tanks. I think they were, at least one of them, the second one I got rear-ended on the highway. Because, like, traffic stopped around this one curve that it always stops at, but someone just wasn't paying attention. And they rear-ended me, and my bumper got pushed in, right? And that was the only damage to the car. Literally by the end of the day or the day after, it had popped back out again. It was just like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I was like, that's awesome. Ooh, ambulance. So this is my new baby, and I'm gonna welcome her with open arms, because you gotta do what you gotta do. So I have a car payment now, which I didn't have before. So I'm kind of strapped for cash, y'all. So it's gonna be time to eat at home a lot, which is literally the hardest thing for me to do, is to eat at home. Like, because I hate cooking, hate it with a passion. Love me some DoorDash. And so I'm gonna try not to eat like fast food every day. Because it's just like, fast food's just not good for you, all those preservatives. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. But I got a letter in the mail from the police, and they said that they had recovered an item from my, oh my god, spicy, almost accident. They had recovered an item from my theft. It was, they had found a Visa gift card of mine. And I don't know if there's any money left on it, but they found it, so I'm going to go pick it up today. But I thought it was so interesting to get, like, a letter in the mail from the actual police department and be like, we recovered a piece of your property. So it's just kind of cool to, like, you know, even though this experience sucked, it's just kind of cool to be like, oh, so that's what that paperwork looks like. And then I'm going to go see what the warehouse looks like, where they put all the evidence. I'm like, that's going to be kind of cool. Like, take the wins in stride. I'm like, because, I mean, and let's face it, I don't mind a cop in uniform, so it might be a little eye treat for me. Be like, excuse me, I'm here to check out my products. Yeah, no shame. I'm like, hello, sir. Are you friendly to the women persuasion? Alright, I'm gonna stop trying to seduce my fake man. Anyway. So But yeah, so that's what's going on with my new car. I got a new car, lost my old car. I made sure to go to it wasn't at the impound lot when I went to it, but anyway, I went to the body shop where they had inspected it and picked all the stuff out of my car. And it was interesting, like, again, when I went back to my car to pick up everything that was in it, there were things that I realized that were gone that I was kind of surprised that were gone. So, like, again, I was surprised that they didn't take, like, the nail dryer or whatever. They didn't take, they didn't take my weight belt. Again, super happy about that. But, like, the thing that I noticed that they had taken, which kind of made me go, was I had, like, this steering wheel cover. And it was black, and it had, like, black, kind of like mini gemstones, you know? It was, like, probably $22. It came with that, and, like, I bought, like, the matching coasters that go in your cup holder. And so, like, your car kind of sparkles or whatever. But they were black gems, so it wasn't, like, super bright, where it was, like, because if you get the silver one, sometimes it can be a little, So I got ones with black. So, like, they had taken the steering wheel cover and the coasters. So they had noticed those things enough to steal them, but they didn't take, like, some of the other stuff. It was just interesting what they picked. Like, that seems so specific that I was like, oh, you really liked the steering wheel cover. That's actually kind of poetic to me. I'm like, I'm glad you liked it. That sounds weird, but I'm so glad you enjoyed that, because I did too, you know? Like, we have good taste. So that was just kind of something that I realized that wasn't there anymore. Or, like, I also had bought, like, this thing 10 years ago, probably. It was, one time when my sister and I went to Disney World, we were going through Test Track. And at the end of Test Track, they have, like, the gift shop or whatever. And they had, a couple of, like, what's the best way to say it? You know how cars used to have full-length antennas, right? And so you used to be able to buy these little things to put on your antennas on the end. I like to call them, like, antenna toppers. I don't know if that's accurate. It was like little baubles that you would put on the end of your car antenna. And so they had those, but it was like one that was a Mickey Mouse, but it was just a black ball with black ears on it. No other features except it had, like, little black arms with the white gloves and little black legs with the yellow shoes. No facial features. It was just this big ball with, like, 2 legs and 2 feet on it with ears. But then the best part was it was in a Superman pose with a Superman cape on. Without, like, the logo, of course. It was like, but it was like, so it was like superhero Mickey just going, yeah! And luckily they had an attachment that you could put on that had, like, a rubber band, you know, like one of the elastics. So I had it on my rear view mirror for, like, the longest time. But he broke, so I super glued him in a couple places. And then there was kind of a time in my neighborhood where people were getting pulled over for, like, the stupidest stuff, you know, because it was kind of like high alert time or whatever. So I took it off of my rear view mirror for a while because I just didn't want to get pulled over just for that, you know, just something stupid, because it is technically illegal. So I took it off, and then I hadn't put it back in a long time, and they had taken that too. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh, they took my Super Mickey topper. Like, just the most interesting things that are not there anymore. Like, even, I had, like, even a pack of napkins that was just sitting there for, like, Kleenex. They took those, because I think they just grabbed and threw stuff in a bin and took it. You know, sort through it later. But it was just like, just stuff I didn't expect. So, the things about the new car that I'm really digging, because my car was a 2011, so it didn't have a lot of bells and whistles on it. The best bell and whistle it had was it had the mirror, the rear view mirror, that would dim when, like, strong headlights would come by, and then you could program the buttons to open your garage door. So that was, like, the GLS part of my car, because I had a Hyundai GLS, and that was one of the features of the GLS. And I can't remember if it had fancy hubcap. I don't know. There was one other thing it had that was technically part of the GLS line. But I have that mirror, the same mirrors in this car, so that's great, because I do really like that feature. But so, some of the other bells and whistles I'm not used to having, which are sometimes standard on a car now, are like the little sensors on your side view mirror to let you know that there's a car in your blind spot. Totally banging. I freaking love that. Like, because now that I'm getting a little older, sometimes I'm not as good with turning around to look at my blind spot, because I feel like my mirrors, I always put my mirrors in the wrong spot, so I feel like I still always have a blind spot that I'm missing. So, you know, I've almost made a couple mistakes, you know, in the last probably year and a half. But anyway, so having the sensors is super cool, because it's like helps with my, you know, human nature to make mistakes. The other thing that I love is that it has like a cruise control, but when you put the cruise control on to 60 or whatnot, if there's a car in front of you, it adjusts, so it'll slow down because it senses the car there. I love that. You can tell it how far you kind of want it to look, how much of a following distance you want. You can set that kind of a little bit. There's a little more leeway to that. So stuff like that is like anything else. I swear there's other things. Other things, like it has like this little screen up here. It's not like a touch screen. It actually toggles from a little dial down by my hip. Down by my hip. And let me see. There we go. So yeah, it sensors down. It's down by my hip and it toggles, so you can like play with the menu for like the radio, or it has buttons. Like, so when I'm playing Pandora on my phone, I can use the next button on the steering wheel. I didn't have that feature in my old car. So like stuff that's a standard in some other cars is like a first for me. Like the lift gate for my trunk. I can push the button and it opens. I can push the button and it closes. Like, I just can't even tell you how excited I am. I'm just gonna take this, you know, even though it's a payment I didn't really need or want. I am gonna take this amazing car in stride and enjoy the features that it has, because it is, I feel so good. It is so comfy. It is so comfy. The heated seats. Oh, bring on the heated seats. There's auto car start through an app that they're not charging extra for it yet. And I'm like super excited about that. Like, I love auto start. I can't even. And, so excited. Like, the best part about the auto start is I'm so used to, like, because on my old car, I had auto start installed as just like a Groupon that I bought and had a shop put it in, but you had to be within a certain amount of feet for it to work, right? This one goes through like a network or the interwebs, and so it goes to your car somehow. So I was like in a restaurant, from like the parking ramp I could start my car. It was fantastic. I was like, I can't even. Technology is nutter butters. So again, I'm just trying to take all this, you know, bad news and throw it into a good thing, because it is it was trying. So I have a little short story. I'm sorry, I know this video is kind of long, I'm sorry. But so I had this I had a derpy moment. So I have to tell you my derpy moment. So I try to be kind of like, I'm one of those people where I like to be not in control, but I like to have a system. Like, I like to, you know, if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to put all the stuff out, you know, maybe the night before so I don't forget it, or I'm going to put it on my phone, or, you know, I'm just usually a put together kind of person. And so like the day I found out my car was totaled, it was kind of a shock. Like, I didn't think it was coming. I was under the impression my car was just going to be fixed. You know, I just called to get an update because I didn't even know if they had the car yet. Was it still at the impound lot? Blah, 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 blah. So I was just doing an informational call, and then I got blindsided that it wasn't getting fixed, and that was the end of that. And I was like, so I had, you know, an emotional response for like a day. And the next day was the day I had to put my big girl panties on and get all like the paperwork done. So like I had to go to get all of my things out of my car at the shop. I had to go and get, bring my title to the insurance company to sign over the title of my baby, which was so hard. Oh my God. So I had to bring that in. And then I had to go car shopping before I had to go to work that night. So I had a full day ahead of me, right? So I set my alarm on my phone like I always do. I always use my phone for my alarm. And I was supposed to get up at 9:30. I wake up at 10:30, like naturally, and I was like, oh no. Oh no, what happened? Because my phone has been kind of a little, the charging port's been a little, I don't want to say, I don't know, it's kind of loose, maybe? Like the connector doesn't quite connect. I thought maybe it was dirty. I'm trying to figure out how to clean it. But it doesn't like connect 100% sometimes, so it's like slow charging or whatever. But anyway, it had fallen out completely, so I like to listen to like soundscapes when I'm sleeping or whatever. And so my phone had died. And I'm like, oh no. So my alarm didn't go off, so I'm already an hour behind. So it's 10:30. I was supposed to go to pick up my stuff out of my car before my appointment at noon. So I was like, well, that's going to be a tight pull. So I decided I would do, pick out the stuff out of my car after my noon appointment, right? So I was like, okay, I'll just switch things around. That's fine. So my alarm didn't go off, and I get ready to leave. And I'm grabbing everything and take a plastic bin with me to put all my stuff. So I have something to put all my stuff in to put, for my car. Thinking ahead, put stuff together. And then, so I leave the house, I put my bin in the back of the rental, and I was like, okay. And I was like, oh man, I forgot the car title. So I went back in to look for the car title. Because usually it was in the plastic bin, but I felt weird that it was just kind of out in the open like that, so I'd put it somewhere else. So I thought I'd put it in, like, there's two places I would have put it, and one place it wasn't there, and then there was like a pile of papers on the coffee table. So I was like, oh, I must have put it in here. So I was flipping through that, wasn't in there, and I was like, well, there's no other place I'd put it, because literally, like, this house is clean. Like, it's not disheveled. I've had worked on that for a while. Now it's just like, so if it's not here or there, there's no other place it would be. So I was like, well, maybe I put it in my work backpack thinking that would be a safer place because it's flat and blah, blah, blah. So I went outside and I kind of like locked the door behind me because I was like, yeah, that sounds practical. I think that's exactly where I put it. So I expected to leave when I was done. And, sorry, my phone beeped, so I got nervous. Oh, so so I went outside, locked the door behind me, by, doing the clicky thing, and then, yeah. And so I was like, okay. So it clicks behind me, and then I was like, okay, well, it's not in my backpack, because I had already had the rental unlocked. And I was like, oh, well, crap. Well, I guess I'll go back in and look in that pile one more time, right? Then I realized I had locked the door. Like I always do. Where you just turn it from the inside and then pull it behind you, right? Then I realized my car keys weren't in my pocket. And they're usually, I never usually when I go back in the house to look for something, it's not like I put them down. I don't re-hang them up. I don't put them down. I usually put them in my pocket. I did not put them in my pocket. I had locked myself out of my house. And I was just like, are you freaking serious? Like, I locked myself out of my car maybe like twice. I guess it's irrelevant. But anyway, so like, I was like, are you serious? I just locked myself out of my car. Or out of my house. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called my mom. And I was like, hey Mom, can you bring that spare key that I gave you because I locked myself out of my house? And she's like, sure, where'd you put it? And I was like, well, what do you mean, where did I put it? I gave you a spare key, and then you would put it where you think it should go. I didn't put it anywhere. And she's like, oh, so she like goes through like, this little drawer that I would look for it there too, kind of thing. And she's like, I don't see anything. And I'm like, she's like, what does it look like? I said, well, it was just a key. So, like, whatever I didn't put a different key chain on it or anything. I just gave you the key to do with it where you thought you... No, I don't know where the key is. And she's like, well, I don't either. And I'm like, oh, God. like, ah. So then I was like, well, it's oddly enough, it's like, by now it's like 11:45. And I was like, maybe my roommate's on lunch, because, like, he has lunch sometime between 11 and noon. And I was like, oh, my God. So I texted my roommate, and I was like, Roomie, are you still on break? I need help. I'm stuck outside. Luckily, I had a jacket, and luckily, I had, like, the car to wait in, so, like, I had options, but I was like, no, it's chilly still outside. It's not exactly warm in the car either, so I was like, nah. So anyway, so he comes and lets me in the house, bless his soul, and so then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't figure out where I would have put this title, and I was talking to him about it. And so I was like, well, I just would have put it in this pile of papers. So I flipped through the pile of papers again. And it's, you know, like one bill and, like, you know, some, like, doctor visit notes that I just recently had. And, like, I was like, I went to the dentist. Anyway, so I was just like, I just don't, it's not in this pile. I have no idea where I would have put it. I am going to have to go get another one. So I had already gotten a duplicate from the previous week when the car got stolen, and to, you know, go to the impound lot with it. And I was like, where in the fart would I put it? So I flipped through these papers in front of him. I'm like, it's not in here. And he's like, well, what does it look like? I said, well, it's like this official looking full-size paper. It's got, like, emblems on it. It's probably, like, bluish in color. And he's like, he just points and he goes, like that? And I'm like, yes, just like that. So apparently it was on the bottom of the pile, but it was backwards. So all I saw when I was looking through those papers was a blank piece of paper. But it was on the bottom. So it was just like, are you serious? So luckily I had to call my roommate to come home, because I would not have found that title without him. So luckily he came to rescue me, and he found my title. And I was like, cool, alright, so now I'm ready to leave. So I leave to go to my appointment, because my appointment luckily is, I'm going to be like an hour and a half late to my appointment. But he's like, yeah, that's fine, just as long as you come before 4. And I'm like, sweet. So I get about 4 blocks from the house, and I realize I left my purse on the porch. I'm like, ah! I can't do anything. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I was trying so hard to function. It was just stupid. And I think one other thing happened too, where I was just like, I can't. Like, I didn't feel like I was tired or brain stupid, because sometimes you can feel that you're just like, nah. I didn't feel like that, so I was really trying. So that day was dumb. And then, so I had to work my pull tab job that night, and I was like, this is not going to go well, is it? Because I just made a bunch of money. I got a bunch of tips that night, because I was super busy after, like, 8:30. And I was like, I bet you money, because I had to count tickets all night, and my brain hasn't been going too great. I was like, I bet you I made a bunch of mistakes, so I'm going to have to take it out of my tips tonight. So that's what happens, is if you're short on your tills, if you will, then you have to pay because you made the mistake. So I made all this money, and I was like, watch, I'm going to have to put this tip money back into the thing for making mistakes, since I've had such a rough day to start. And my books were on the nuts. I was like, I don't have to pay anything. Which is, you know, normally I don't, but it was just, I was having such a rough day, I was just expecting more mistakes. You know, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that that's not how this went. Because I was just trying so hard to make that day work. And it was such an emotional day for me. I took a moment to be with my car when I went to get my stuff out of it. And I just sat in it and cried, you know, telling my car goodbye. Ugh. Because it's like, I know it's an inanimate object, but when you spend so much time in it, it just becomes a part of your life, you know, your world. And And so, like, oh gosh. I sat there probably for a good half an hour just telling it I was sorry. Woo! Sorry that it happened. Not like it was anyone's fault. But, you know, you just had to take the moment to be like, I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry I have to say goodbye. Woo! That was hard. It was super hard. But, you know, you make memories in these items, and they're not just things eventually. And so, you know, I was very sad to see her go. But anyway, so new car, new fun. Hopefully everything will be great. And I do have an update later. I will update you later about these massages I've been getting. It sounds weird. I mean, like, I'm going to tell you about these massages I've been getting. But it has to do with kind of like body health, and I figured it'd be helpful. So I will talk at you guys soon, and I'll let you know about my massages. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.